Hey, what's up? My name is Darko, and are you constantly addicted to snacking in between your meals? Do you find yourself constantly snacking throughout your entire day? Do you snack late at night? And if you're going on a road trip for 3 hours, are you bringing snacks along for the ride? And most importantly, are you just mindlessly grabbing snacks like the pastries in the morning at the breakfast meeting without even knowing what you're doing? This type of mindless eating is probably why you're not losing weight, why you're not improving your energy, and why your mood sucks. Because look, constantly snacking, constantly being hungry is a massive problem. Okay, and I'm here to tell you that it's not your fault, because there's never been a time in history where we have access to so much unhealthy processed crap that's really easy to actually ingest and eat. Case in point, the global market for snack foods is projected to exceed $630 billion by the year 2020. That's next year. $630 billion. Okay? Functional snacks, convenient snacks, snacks that are touted as low calorie, healthy, gluten-free, GMO-free, like no added sugar, all that kind of stuff. All these snacks are being pushed and pummeled into our face every single day, and we're eating it. According to research from Mintel, 94% of Americans snack at least once a day. 50% of adults snack 2 to 3 times a day. And 70% of those people agree that anything can be considered a snack these days. These foods are everywhere. And in this video, I'm going to share with you how you can stop snacking so you can regain your life back, regain your time, stop having these cravings, and stop feeling like you need to constantly be eating. You know, this is literally an epidemic of massive proportions. You've got people now who are trying to lose weight and snacking to do it. They're using snacking as meal replacements. Now, there's a lot of reasons why this happens, and we're going to go deep into that in this video. If you follow what I'm about to share with you in this video, you'll no longer be a slave to snacks all the time. You'll have more energy, mental focus, and mental clarity throughout your day. And if you don't follow what I'm about to say in this video, you'll constantly be craving snacks, you'll constantly be overeating, and you'll constantly be wondering why you're not losing weight and why you don't have any energy. So when I talk about snacks, what kind of snacks am I talking about? Well, do you eat any of these snacks? Do you eat any candy, cakes, chips and dips, chocolate, cookies, crackers, dips and savory spreads, frozen snacks and ice cream, nuts, seeds and trail mix, pies, potato and tortilla chips, salty snacks, snack nutrition and performance bars, and sodas? Well, if so, eating these healthy, low-fat, gluten-free, low-carb, low-sugar, low-calorie, no artificial sweeteners, no added sugar, preservative-free, all-natural, GMO-free, reduced, low, no trans fat snacks can do more harm than good if you're trying to sustain your energy levels and lose weight. But what about protein bars? I'll get to those in a minute. So before I go into the solutions to this problem, it's really important that we understand how we got here in the first place. So since 1970 till now, many things that have happened that have spiked weight gain. We have an increase in high fructose corn syrup, an increase in refined sugars, and a decrease in fats. Calories from snacking in between meals actually increased. And in fact, there's a study in a 2011 report by the US Department of Agriculture. They stated there'd been a slight increase in calories, but more than a 2 times spike in snacking since 1970. So what's fueling this growth in snack consumption? Our lifestyle. See, city life, I'm from London, city life can be increasingly busy, right? As we get older, we get more busy. So, we don't have time for all these things. We don't have time. So we just grab a snack. We just grab what's convenient. And this is one of the main reasons why snacking industry is just booming, because we're just buying more and more snacks. There's companies that are producing more and more health conscious snacks, like all these different keto snacks, paleo snacks, all these kind of snacks. But at the end of the day, it's making us fatter. It's making us more dependent on the snacks, and it's not solving our issues. Do you remember I said it's not our fault? The vast majority of products in the supermarket are owned by just 10 conglomerate companies. Okay, companies like Mars, Nestle, Coca-Cola, PepsiCo. These companies produce billions of dollars every single year, and they control pretty much all of the ultra processed crap that I'm talking about in this video. These are the foods that are high in refined sugars, high in refined carbs, salt and trans fat that keep us craving them. Their foods are deliberately engineered by scientists that they hire to keep us addicted to eating these foods. Because obviously if we're addicted to eating their food, we're going to keep paying them money and they're going to keep making loads of money. It goes deeper than that though. They want us to believe that it's our fault, but it's actually not, okay? Because it's a behemoth of a system designed for one thing: to keep us sick. They want to keep us sick, so we go on the prescription drugs that feed Big Pharma's pocket to the tune of billions each year. They don't want us to be healthy. You know why? Because healthy humans equals no money generated for them. Healthy humans don't generate money for these big companies. I don't help the economy of the snack industry because I don't purchase all of these snacks. The rise in production and consumption of these fake processed foods in the last 40 years is what's contributed to the plutonic rise in obesity rates worldwide. Millions of us worldwide are hooked on these ultra processed foods that stimulate our body's internal pleasure system. They give us that feeling of reward that makes us come back for more. It's a biological response in our body, and the food makers know this. They know exactly how much salt, sugar and trans fat to include in their food that sets off the pleasure centers in the brain. In fact, these are the same pleasure centers in the brain that show up under an MRI scan when people are fed cocaine. So the frequency of snacking is one of the biggest root causes of obesity on this entire planet. And it's simply because our bodies are not designed to be eating all this processed garbage so frequently. According to research from Mintel, 62% of Americans snack in order to satisfy a craving. And I can relate to that because I used to snack on Haribos and wine gums all the time, right? Like even saying the name would make me want to have it. I would go to the supermarket and buy these big bags of sweets and I would just eat them in one sitting, literally all to myself. I would also buy chips, crisps, and sometimes even cookies. As a kid, my parents would always go do the shopping and they would always buy some sort of snack. They would always buy some sort of crisps or bring us some Oreo cookies or some sweets. So I literally grew up basically eating snacks and thinking that it was normal. I literally thought it was normal. So what do you think I did when I started making my own money? I went straight to the supermarket and bought all the snacks because I could afford it, right? Like I'm making my own money, I can afford all these snacks. And so I started binging on all the sugar. I started buying several packs of my favorite candy and it was great. I loved it, but I didn't love the effects afterwards, okay? More spots. Like when I eat sugar, I get a lot of spots that come all over my face. Energy tanks, my energy level just tanks. I'm not productive. As an entrepreneur, that's very, very important to obviously have good skin and all that kind of stuff, but most importantly, be productive, have the energy levels, and if you want to lose weight, you should stop eating the sugar. I mean, that's just obvious, we all know that. But like I said before, these big companies, they manufacture the foods to keep us addicted. They have so many chemicals in these foods that keep us addicted. They activate the same pleasure brains as cocaine. I already shared that with you. I want to share a story with you real quick about a mansion mastermind I was at, a business mastermind a few months ago. And it was interesting to me because everyone in there had the same access to the same amount of food. There was snacks, there was real food, there was all sorts of stuff. But it was interesting to note all the entrepreneurs that were in the room were snacking throughout the entire day. And I mean, like literally from the moment they woke up to the moment they went to bed, they were snacking on all this processed crap that we're talking about. And it was interesting observing them because I could see some of them were literally visibly falling asleep during the lectures, during the actual mastermind. And these are entrepreneurs that paid thousands of dollars to be at this mastermind and they're falling asleep. So it's like they're actually losing money. That's the result of not paying attention to what you're doing, what you're putting in your mouth, is you're falling asleep, which means that you're actually losing money because you're losing, time where you could be actually invested in learning something that can make you more money. That was an event for people to understand how they can make more money in their business. And these people are falling asleep, they're losing money. Okay, so is snacking costing you money? Interesting question, right? And you know what they were snacking on? All of the functional snacks. the protein bars, the granola bars, the dried fruit, the trail mix, the mixed nuts, the performance drinks, the jerky. Compare this to before 1970, and we didn't have hardly any of this stuff. So you can see the massive problem that we're facing. It's no wonder that obesity rates are increasing, because we've got access to all this crap that we didn't have before. We're eating more of the wrong stuff. Okay, it doesn't matter if it's marketed as healthy. It spikes insulin, and that's a problem. I just mentioned insulin, so let's talk about why constantly snacking actually makes things worse. See, the problem is most people think they should just eat less and diet, right? Just eat less. Yeah, just eat less. Just eat less. Well, here's the problem with that. When we reduce our calories and we eat less and we try and replace the eating with snacking, what ends up happening is we get more hungry, we get more cravings, which leads to more snacking, okay? Which leads to more spikes in insulin and disrupts other hormones involved in weight loss, like leptin and ghrelin, okay? This is because when we snack, our blood sugars are low, okay? That's why we snack, because our blood sugar is low, so we snack to just replenish our blood sugar. So it's important we understand why we're constantly snacking and why we're constantly hungry as a result of all this snacking. So here's how it happens, okay? When we feel stressed, we tend to reach for the snack. Then we eat the sugary, salty snack fortified with several ingredients, and it makes us feel better. It lowers stress, increases our energy, and increases our mood. But it's only temporary, and it's actually making things worse because it creates a large amount of insulin, which basically means insulin is being produced by the pancreas because there's too much sugar in the blood. So there's more insulin being produced. Now, when insulin's high, ghrelin is also high. And ghrelin is the hormone that controls our hunger. Okay, so when our blood sugar is low, we snack to bring our blood sugar back up, right, to where we're feeling satisfied. But then what happens is ghrelin is increased. So ghrelin, we start feeling hungry again. Okay, and what happens with that is that it has an effect on leptin. Okay, because we're eating not real food, our leptin is the hormone that tells your brain that you're full. Okay, so basically people that are always hungry have low levels of leptin because they're always snacking. And this is the problem, right? So you got ghrelin, leptin, and insulin. So leptin levels are low, ghrelin, the hormone that makes you hungry, is high, and then insulin is also high. So basically we're not burning fat, but we're always hungry. And this is the problem. This is why snacking is just it's a treadmill that you can't get off, right? It's like you're running, you think you're trying to get off it, but you can't. That's why the solution I'm going to share with you in a second is very, very simple, but this is why it happens. And it's important to understand why, so you know when you go for that snack, you know what it's going to do to your body, okay? Very, very important. This is why I teach my clients as well. And the result of this, if you continue snacking, is 2 years pass and you put on 30 pounds and you're like, how did this happen? How did I put on 30 pounds? This is how, okay? It's just constantly snacking. It's just an endless cycle. Overeating on your calories, spiking insulin, ghrelin, it's just never ending. So before I started taking my health seriously, I was snacking constantly. I didn't care. I was just snacking on whatever I could get because that's what everyone around me did. They were snacking. So I was like, okay, if they're snacking, I'm going to snack. And before you know it, I put on like 10 pounds, right? And I didn't have a six pack. I never used to have a six pack. Now I can effortlessly maintain it because I understand these concepts that I'm sharing with you. But before, I was just doing what everyone else was doing. And guess what? I was getting what they got, which is a belly. Okay, lower levels of energy, lethargic. Then I met my health mentor. And I noticed that he was eating completely differently to how I was eating. His eating habits were different. So I started eating how he was eating. And then I noticed that my snacking, the need for me to snack, actually decreased. And I stopped snacking so much. And it was just really fascinating to me that I could just copy someone and then get the results that they have. It's amazing. And then I started teaching people. And now I have clients. For example, one of my clients, when he enrolled with me, he was eating cheesecakes all day long. Like he would have a cheesecake at noon and just, have a cheesecake with his coffee. Think nothing of it. That was a regular occurrence for him. He would have a cheesecake like 4, 5, 6 times a week. And amongst other sugary stuff too. And now, since he's implemented some of the solutions I'm going to share with you in just a second, he's actually reversed his cravings. He doesn't even feel the need to have any sugary stuff anymore because he's getting more of the good stuff. And I'm going to share with you exactly what I mean by that in a sec. So what's the solution? I just touched on it just now, but what is the solution to this? What is the solution to stop snacking? I'm going to tell you it. Eat food that has one ingredient in it, also known as eat real food. That's it. Just eat real food and you'll be fine. Trust me, I promise you'll be fine if you just eat real food. It's hard, I know. But if you try and do that and actually consciously do it, you'll notice that when you go to 7-Eleven, just like my client, he goes to 7-Eleven now and he realizes that there's actually nothing in there for him because it's all processed garbage. So he only buys water and maybe some nuts. So, it's really, really easy. The solution is out there. For example, eating foods that are rich in protein and fats, if you get full on these foods, you will notice that you won't need to be snacking because you won't even feel the need to snack. So here's some of the things that I did to reduce my snacking. I started eating raw, unsalted nuts to replace the sugary snacks, protein and healthy fats. I drank more water. I started eating my meals in 8-hour windows each day. This is also known as intermittent fasting, but I started doing that and it drastically improved everything in my life. That's one of the hacks to effortlessly maintaining a lean physique, is not eating all the time. Go figure. And here's the big one. Eating more nutrient-dense food, more real food. Okay, I like to eat a lot of protein, a lot of fats, okay, because this keeps us satiated for longer, all right? Protein keeps us fuller for longer. There's no need to decrease your protein. Increase the protein and watch what happens. You won't feel the need to have a snack all the time. And most importantly, when you're eating the protein and the fats, eat until you're full. Okay, don't go, save a little room for dessert. Eat until you're full. That's the problem. You're saving room for dessert and then boom, that's a vicious cycle. Okay, it's a treadmill that you can't get off. That's why people come to me, clients come to me, and they're eating dessert with every single meal. And we train them to slowly decrease the amount of times they're having dessert until it's eventually gone. Because we don't need to be eating that much sugary stuff in our diet. Okay, we just literally don't. Another one is becoming more mindful of when I crave snacks. Okay, become more mindful of what you ate before you had the craving. So if you have a craving right now, think about your last meal. What did you eat for your last meal that's causing you to crave right now? And then you can reverse engineer it and you can start paying more attention to what you're putting in your mouth, and then you can actually heal yourself, right? You can understand your food better. And that's really what I help my clients with, is understanding their food, because most people don't understand nutrition. They just follow that diet and this diet, but they don't actually understand what's happening. They need to understand what's happening if you want to maintain a lean physique all year round for the rest of your life. So becoming more mindful of how food affects you is so important. For me, I realized that the reason I snacked so much was because I was always eating sugar. And if you're always eating sugar, you're always going to want to eat sugar. It's very simple. Sugar begets sugar. So if you want to stop having sugar cravings, first of all, stop eating sugar. And for me, the second thing I realized was I wasn't giving my body what it needs. I was giving my body subpar nutrients, which meant that my body was actually causing me to crave all the bad stuff. Okay, you know when they say listen to your body, it's actually true. When you're not giving your body what it needs, it's going to be more likely to crave the bad foods. All right, and that's exactly what was happening to me. And then what ends up happening is you start snacking more because you're craving the wrong foods, and it exacerbates the problem, and then all of a sudden you're overweight. That's how it happens. That's how it happens to most people. And number 3 was I realized that I was eating way too much throughout my day because I didn't have any sort of safeguard in place, right? So when I started implementing the 8-hour eating window, I realized that I didn't need to be eating all the time, and it's actually really annoying to have to always eat all the time. So it was really nice feeling not to eat all the time, just 2 big meals a day, and that was it. It was really nice. No more snacking, just 2 big meals a day. And if I did want a snack, I would have some nuts, some raw, unsalted nuts. Or if some of you watching this, maybe you're addicted to sugar like I was, and the way I dealt with that is I changed the Haribos to fruits, okay? High sugar fruits like pineapples, oranges. Then I changed from the high sugar fruits to the low sugar fruits like blueberries, strawberries, blackberries, okay? And then now, as of recording this, personally, I don't eat fruits. I don't eat much fruit right now because it's sugar. At the end of the day, there's sugar in fruits, right? So I literally, all I have is kombucha, and that's literally it. That's good for my gut health, and it's got a little bit of sugar in there. But yeah, it's fermented, so it's good for the gut health. So remember I spoke to you about one of my clients who's been following this and been doing this. Well, he actually has no desire to eat any sugary stuff. But what he told me recently was when he actually wants to eat the sugary stuff, it's not because he feels compelled to, it's just because he wants to do it. And then he realizes that it doesn't even taste that good anymore because, you know, he's just transformed the way he eats, his relationship with food, that he understands, this is what I'm saying, he understands that this is going to make it worse. Okay, if you keep eating sugar, you're never going to get off your addiction to sugar. Okay, that's very, very easy to understand, but it's harder to implement. Okay, so it takes videos like this. I mean, it's been really detailed, but it takes me to explain it like this for you to understand that you need to focus on eating more real food, and then your cravings will go away. Okay, they will just dissipate because you'll feel full. When you're satiated, when you're giving your body the nutrients, the macro and micronutrients it needs, your urge to actually start binging decreases. Also, another thing is boredom. A lot of people tell me that they're bored and they eat late at night. Well, that's because they're bored, right? Like, you need to find ways to actually entertain yourself, actually improve your lifestyle. So this is another factor, but that goes into emotional eating, and that's something that I go in depth with in my program. So if you want to find out how we're helping clients just like yourself, probably successful entrepreneurs, busy entrepreneurs, get in the best shape of their life without giving up favorite foods, without, you know, doing any sort of crash diets, without doing some 7-day juice fast and all that crazy nonsense. If you want a sustainable way to lean down and improve your health as you age, yes, it's possible, then I urge you and encourage you to go to click the link below this video or go to healthmasteryclass.com, and you'll find out exactly how you can get access to a free phone call that we're going to have if you're accepted, and then we'll go through exactly where you are, where you want to be, and the fastest path to get you there so you can have more energy, feel stronger, make more money in your business, and have a better life. Okay, so if you found this video helpful, like it up and share it with your friends. My name is Darko. I'll talk to you in the next one where I talk about cholesterol and the myths about cholesterol and how your doctor's not always right. All right, talk to you soon.